Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Know Your Noodles, the place to find out which noodles are great and which ones you'll probably hate. As always, we'll be rating the noodles based on 5 different categories. The noodles, the super sauce, the additional toppings, the spiciness, and finally, the overall taste. So last week we had the Yakisoba Noodles from Nissin. If you haven't checked out the video yet, please make sure you do. I will leave a link somewhere here in the video. I'm quite curious what noodles we'll be having this week, so can I get a drum roll? Alright, we'll be having the Yakisoba Noodles, and they are duck flavored.
Okay.
So the Yum Yum Noodles are noodles from the One Thai Foods industry. Let's see what we have on the package itself. On the front it seems that they have a couple of duck slices on them. I'm afraid that there won't be duck included. I also see some carrots, I see some lettuce, and I see some star anise and some mushrooms. Also seems like it's a soup this week. Let's see what the actual description says. We have some tapioca, starch, salt, sugar, the basics. Oh, and I see some vegetables, but they only mentioned garlic and spring onion in the vegetables, so it doesn't seem there will be a lot of vegetables in there. Definitely not as much as they show on the package. Besides that, we have our typical flavor enhancers. Flavor enhancers contain chili, cinnamon, pepper, star anise. I don't know how you pronounce it. Besides that, you have your E-numbers, so coriander powder, soybean, and a cat. Hello cat. Yeah, so the preparation seems pretty straightforward, so I think it's safe to just go to the kitchen, get ready, and get those noodles cooked. So alright, as you can see, we have the noodles over here, then we have 3 small satchels, we have the vegetable oil over here, we also have some red chili powder, and we also have the seasoning powder. So as you can see, the seasoning powder has an image of some garlic and some other vegetables that it is hard to distinguish for me. So looking at the preparation, we just place everything in a bowl. Actually, we add the boiling water, 320 milliliters, then we cover the bowl for 3 minutes and we stir well before serving. We have some soup. So yeah, it seems pretty straightforward. So without further ado, let's get some water boiling and get those noodles cooked. Here. So the noodles have a very strong scent. It actually smells really good. You can really smell the duck. So let's go ahead and taste the noodles. Oh, alright. So the noodles are a bit firm, like the ones last week as well. So the noodles are a bit firm. To be honest, they are a bit too firm if you ask me. They're really hard. which is unfortunate because they do taste good. I would say if you get these noodles, just cook them a bit longer, 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes, and they're perfect. I would say I would give the noodles a 2 out of 5. So they definitely have potential to be good. Currently they are not that tasty. The next up is the soup. So let's have a quick sip and let's see how the soup tastes. Okay. So the soup is actually pretty good. It's not too strong, so I was afraid because the sand was very strong, the soup would also be a very strong broth. But it's actually pretty light. You can taste the aroma of the duck. It is also a bit salty, so it tastes pretty good. So I would say that I give the soup a 4 out of 5. So next up are the additional toppings. As you have seen during the preparation, there weren't any toppings that I added during the cooking of the noodles. I only added the chili powder, the seasoning powder, and some vegetable oil. But that was actually it. And looking at how they look right now, I don't see a lot of vegetables. I can see, I think it's a bit of lettuce, but definitely not the amount of vegetables that they have shown us, which is really unfortunate. I really love some additional toppings. I really like some vegetables with my noodles, but you don't get, you get the bare minimum. And for that, I also unfortunately have to give the bare minimum to the additional toppings, which is a 1 out of 5. So next up is the spiciness. We added some chili powder, but to be fair, it is definitely not as spicy as the first one we had. And also, I would say less spicy than the noodles we had last week. So if you're used to spicy, I would say this is not spicy at all. If not, it might be a bit because also of the seasoning that is a bit spicy. But overall, I would give it a 2 out of 5. You can taste that it's a bit spicy, but this is definitely not your average, like, oh, I'm on fire. And finally, we have the overall taste. So before we do that, let me first have a final bite to give the noodles an overall rating. So while I've been talking about all these categories, the noodles actually softened a bit, which actually makes the noodle taste a bit better. However, I will stick to my original rating for the noodles because that is usually... Psych! Nay! Now the noodles actually are a bit softer because we waited for a bit, which make them even tastier. However, I'm gonna stick with my original rating because that is when the noodles were served, and that is usually how you eat them. However, it is confirmed that if you wait a bit longer, the noodles actually do get tastier. And the noodles are okay. They are a bit too hard, like I said, but they are tasty. I definitely don't hate them. They're definitely not untasty. Yeah, so they're okay. They're definitely untasty. The soup is pretty okay. It definitely gives the noodles a depth of flavor. However, the soup itself is a bit mediocre. It is nice to have a couple of sips, but like finishing the whole thing is probably not that tasty. It is also very unfortunate that you don't get any additional toppings. The image that they show on the package is definitely not what you get. It is just noodles with some soup and the bare minimum vegetables. So for the overall rating, I would have to give this one a 2 out of 5. There are a couple of nice bites in there. If there's apocalypse, I would definitely eat these noodles. But if you can choose, you'll probably be better off picking up another noodle. Alright, and that is already it for this week's Know Your Noodles. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe to this channel to make sure you stay updated to the latest noodles. Have a great day and see y'all next week. Bye!
This is Sparta!